Advantages of a mutual currency. Mutual banks would furnish an adequate currency. For whether money were hard or easy, all legitimate paper would be discounted by them. At present, banks draw in their issues when money is scarce, the very time when a large issue is desirable, because they are afraid there will be a run upon them for specie. But mutual banks, having no fear of a run upon them, as they have no metallic capital, and never pretend to pay specie for their bills, can always discount good paper. It may appear to some readers, notwithstanding the explanations already given 13, that we go altogether farther than we are warranted when we affirm that the creation of an immense mass of mutual money would produce no depreciation in the price of the silver dollar. The difficulty experienced in understanding this matter results from incorrect notions respecting the standard of value, the measure of value, and the nature of money. This may be made evident by illustration. The yard is a measure of length, and a piece of wood, or a rod of glass or metal, is a corresponding standard of length. The yard, or measure, being ideal, is unvarying. But all the standards we have mentioned contract or expand by heat or cold, so that they vary to an almost imperceptible degree, perhaps, at every moment. It is almost impossible to measure off a yard, or any other given length, with mathematical accuracy. The measure of value is the dollar. The standard of value, as fixed by law, is silver or gold at a certain degree of fineness. Corn, land, or any other merchantable commodity might serve as a standard of value, but silver and gold form a more perfect standard, on account of their being less liable to variation. And they have accordingly been adopted, by the common consent of all nations, to serve as such. The dollar, as simple measure of value, has, like the yard, which is a measure of length, an ideal existence only. In Naples, the ducat is the measure of value. But the Neapolitans have no specific coin of that denomination. Now, it is evident that the bill of a mutual bank is like a note of hand, or like an ordinary bank bill, neither a measure, nor a standard of value. It is one, not a measure. For, unlike all measures, it has an actual, and not a merely ideal existence. The bill of a mutual bank, being receivable in lieu of a specified number of silver dollars, presupposes the existence of the silver dollar as a measure of value, and acknowledges itself as amenable to that measure. The silver dollar differs from a bill of a mutual bank receivable in lieu of a silver dollar, as the measure differs from the thing measured. The bill of a mutual bank is not a standard of value, because it has in itself no intrinsic value, like silver and gold. Its value being legal, and not actual. A stick has actual length, and therefore may serve as a standard of length. Silver has actual intrinsic value, and may therefore serve as a standard of value. But the bill of a mutual bank, having a legal value only, and not an actual one, cannot serve as a standard of value, but is referred, on the contrary, to silver and gold as that standard, without which it would itself be utterly unintelligible. If ordinary bank bills represented specie actually existing in the vaults of the banks, no mere issue or withdrawal of them could effect a fall or rise in the value of money. For every issue of a dollar bill would correspond to the locking up of a specie dollar in the bank's vaults. And every cancelling of a dollar bill would correspond to the issue by the banks of a specie dollar. It is by the exercise of banking privileges, that is, by the issue of bills purporting to be, but which are not, convertible, that the banks effect a depreciation in the price of the silver dollar. It is this fiction by which legal value is assimilated to, and becomes, to all business intents and purposes, actual value that enables bank notes to depreciate the silver dollar. substitute verity in the place of fiction, either by permitting the banks to issue no more paper than they have specie in their vaults, or by effecting an entire divorce between bank paper and its pretended specie basis, and the power of paper to depreciate specie is at an end. So long as the fiction is kept up, the silver dollar is depreciated, and tends to emigrate for the purpose of traveling in foreign parts. But the moment the fiction is destroyed, the power of paper over metal ceases. By its intrinsic nature, specie is merchandise, having its value determined, as such, by supply and demand. But on the contrary, paper money is, by its intrinsic nature, not merchandise, but the means whereby merchandise is exchanged, and as such ought always to be commensurate in quantity with the amount of merchandise to be exchanged, be that amount great or small. Mutual money is measured by specie, but is in no way assimilated to it, and therefore its issue can have no effect whatever to cause a rise or fall in the price of the precious metals.